Hola. This is a brief video on the preterite tense in Spanish. The preterit's the simple past. You need to know a lot of the uses so that you can read it correctly and you know when to say it or write it. So basically the preterite tense translates as the ed ending in English. So words like worked, listened, danced, and that means that an action is over. It's not in progress. It was completely finished. You use this tense as a summary or plot of the past. When you're telling a story or something that happened in your life, it narrates things and keeps the story going forward. So it's important that one detail ended and then another began, etc. You get from the beginning to the end. The preterite is used to indicate that actions are over at a specific time, like 3 days ago, last year, or that they occurred for a specific amount of period, like somebody ran for 2 hours. And also, if an action occurred multiple times at different moments, but you know the number that, so you could say something like that somebody went to Florida 5 times, but they're not going to go again from that description. So all of the uses for it are based on being as specific as possible that you can with information in the past tense. It's important to note it is not used to provide background information because there's a little bit of overlap here, whereas in English we can say things like, I played golf yesterday. Well, we could also say, I played golf a lot when I was in high school. Spanish does not have that overlap. In Spanish, the preterite, I played golf yesterday, that's an action that occurred at a specific time, yesterday, is not the same as saying an action occurred multiple times over a very general period of time, which is high school. That's a 4-year period, and golf may or may not have been played every single one of those years. So as you learn more past tenses in Spanish, you'll notice that the translation of the ed will become a little more problematic later on because English uses the ed ending for background information, whereas Spanish does not. Spanish only uses it when it's a specific action that occurred at a specific moment or a set number of times. But for right now, since you haven't gone over those other tenses, you can just think of it as the ed ending and move on with your life. Here are the Spanish endings for the AR forms. A, haste, o, amos, aron, aron. So you need to commit these to memory as soon as you can. The pattern of these is a bit more challenging than some of the other tenses in Spanish. There's less logic to it. We're really jumping around, especially in the singular form, A to haste to o. And that means it's just going to take you a little longer to memorize it. The ER and IR endings are also challenging. E, iste, eo, emos, eran, eran. Well, you can notice that there is kind of a pattern comparing it to the AR. So we had haste in the AR, and now it's iste. We had o, now it's eo. We had amos, now it's emos. We had aron with an a, now it's eran. But again, this is not the easiest tense in the world to memorize the conjugations for, so make some note cards, set up a Quizlet, and spend some time committing it to memory. Also notice there are some accents over the E and the O and EO, as well as over the A and O for the AR endings. So the conjugations and how you're going to use those, it's the same rule you've learned before, that you're going to drop the AR, ER, IR, and then add the ending. So here we have bailar in parentheses. We need to match it up with eos. Drop the AR. The ending for eos is aron, and you get the word bailaron. We have an ER verb, comer, drop that ER. What's the ending for nosotros? Imos. Escribir, you're going to drop that IR ending, and the ending for yo is escribí, accent over the I. And finally, trabajar, drop that AR. And for to, the ending is aste, so you end up with trabajaste, bailaron, comimos, escribí, trabajaste. So again, comparing this specifically to the present tense, for example, the endings sound a lot different and don't immediately fit an easy to memorize pattern. When something's harder, that just means it's going to take more time on your part. It's certainly achievable. And when you're translating, we're going to go back to the basic idea of the ed ending in English, although there are a lot of verbs in English that do not use the ed in this tense. We don't say swimmed, we say swam. It's not eated, it's ate. It's not go, it's went. But the basic foundation in terms of your memorization should latch onto an ed verb like worked or something to that effect, and then go from there. So the first one, ellos bailaron ayer. You are going to need to know some time words to do these. They, past tense, bailar is to dance, so now it is danced. They danced, the dancing is over. And then we find out when it happened. They danced yesterday. Nosotros no comimos anoche. We, and this action is in the past, so it's not we don't, it's we didn't. We didn't eat anoche is last night. So again, you see the basic foundation of the sentence. You're going to have a person or group, an action that did or did not occur in the past, and some kind of time information so that we know that it's clearly over. Yo escribí en clase por una hora. So I writed. Nope, this is not an ed in English. I wrote. It's an irregular form in English, but it follows the rules in Spanish. I wrote in class for an hour. We don't know when that happened exactly. We know it happened in the class. When was the class? It doesn't matter in this sentence. The important emphasis is on how long the action lasted. And then the question, ¿tú trabajaste el sábado pasado? Did you work? Past tense there, last Saturday. Or you could have answered it, you worked last Saturday? Lifting your voice a little bit to make to indicate that it's a question. So just a basic introduction here to the preterite simple past tense. Your endings, a, aste, o, amos, aron. Your ERI endings, e, iste, io, imos, ieren. You should commit those to memory as soon as possible so that you have time to look over time words and practice reading and writing and speaking with this tense.